Hey YouTube, so coming at you super impromptu here. Just wanted to kind of share my thoughts. I find it actually a little bit therapeutic for me, actually quite therapeutic, because I don't really have people I can always talk to in real life about this. Actually, I don't really talk about this a lot in real life just because, well, for various reasons. But I feel like what's going on with psychiatric drugs is becoming more and more common. My mom was listening to this thing totally unrelated to that this morning, and this person who was speaking, I don't even know exactly what the video was about that she was watching. I know it was not about psychiatry or anything, and this person was talking about how they had taken psychiatric medications because they had like mild anxiety, and they ended up with clinical depression and all of these other physical or mental problems and all of these health issues. And sorry, and just how they ended up recovering in their body, just reiterating that the body is self-healing. And then they went to talk on the other whatever topic she was listening to. But I have just seen it more and more, and I guess it's because I've been in this for so long, and I've been paying attention to what people post on social media and people that I know personally and what they're posting. So I'm seeing it more and more and more happening more and more and more. And like, for instance, I have this one friend who I have spoken to. I know I've known her for many years, but I haven't actually seen her in person in quite a long time, but I follow her on social media. And she, I know, has been taking all kinds of different psychiatric drugs, and then she went off. I don't know how long ago, but I know she was trying to go med free, and then she had made a post how, I have the worst anxiety I've ever had in my entire life, and I just can't do it med free anymore. So, I got brave and made the call to my doctor. And right away, I just think, it's not you. Like, it's not that it's in your head or that you're just having a harder time coping with life. Obviously, that can be the case, but just knowing her timeline, and I had a lot of conversations with her previously when she had taken drugs, and just I didn't fully understand what was going on with myself at the time. I was just kind of getting into it and kind of starting to figure it out. But now that I see her post, because she's very open about her struggles, I just feel like you're just another one of us. That's honestly what goes through my head. And I don't want to, obviously this changes your perception of things and the world in general. At least it has for me. It's profoundly changed me and my life. But it also opens your eyes to things. And I've spoken with another woman who had very, very severe symptoms, akathisia and everything for a long time, and she's completely healed now, and she's a nurse, and she says she sees it all the time. But it's, again, one of those taboo things, one of those controversial things where, you can't really say anything, and so many times the doctors don't recognize it, and when she's tried to bring it up with them, then, there's denial or there's resistance, or, it just, I feel like this is just going to become an epidemic. I really, really do. And especially now, another reason I wanted to make a quick video is because I just saw an advertisement on TV for Bell Let's Talk Day, which is, I don't know if it's worldwide. I honestly don't know. I'm in Canada, but every year in January, Bell, the big telecommunications company, has their, mental health awareness day. And so all over social media, you're supposed to tag your posts with Bell Let's Talk, and then people share their mental health struggles. It's this big campaign that they've had for this is at least the 6th year. I'm sure it's longer than that, but that's the last memory I can have of it, or the first memory I have of it. And I just feel like, yeah, let's talk, but let's talk about the other side of what's going on with mental health treatment, and that is severe, severe, severe side effects to these drugs, and the fact that there's been studies done of countries who they don't even really prescribe psychiatric medications, and their outcomes are so much better. They have way less people on disability for mental health issues. They don't have nearly as much chronic issues as we do here in the West, and they tend to recover even from severe psychiatric problems more quickly and easily and in a shorter period of time. Well, I guess that's quickly, than we do here, even though we have all of these, wonderful advanced medicines that are supposed to be just so great for the brain and body, and they're supposed to help your mental health and get, I'm so sketched out by all of it now. And just when I've seen articles like that talking about how people in other countries have much better outcomes than we do here, it's like this should be raising a lot of red flags. And I know personally in real life more than one person who has developed mental health issues that they, like, not even that they didn't have before, but now they have more than one. So they had one problem, like say depression. They took a drug, and now they've got bipolar, and now they've got psychosis. And so then not only do they need antidepressants, but now they're taking antipsychotics, and then they're taking benzos, and that, like, it just is this chain reaction. And I know at least 3 people that I can think of off the top of my head in real life. Sorry if the camera's shaking. I usually have it on a tripod when I'm just holding it, so I apologize for that if it's annoying. I'm kind of getting fired up here. But these people who have developed more than one mental illness since starting the drugs, and now they have to take a handful of them, and or they're unable to work now because of all of their sudden, or not, maybe not sudden, but psychiatric problems that have developed. And the problem is that, you know, the healthcare professionals will say, well, mental illness tends to get worse over time, and it tends to get more complex and more serious and more severe, which I'm not saying that can't be the case, but I just find it kind of ironic. Well, first of all, don't even get me started on the fact that you take depression medication that when you open the FDA reports, so say you type in, so my original drug was citalopram, which is Celexa, that's the brand name. If you type into Google, sorry, my continuous glucose monitor is going to go off. My sugar is a little bit high, but if you type into Google Celexa patient information FDA or something like along those lines, those keywords, you get the 37-page leaflet. You can read it through. It's a PDF, and right on the top in the black square it says, you know, this medication can cause increased suicidal thoughts. It can cause aggression and violence and all of these things, and it's just like, let's think logically about that. How does it make sense to take a medication for depression that causes an increase in those thoughts? That should be a huge red flag. I liken it to insulin. If someone said to me, you're a diabetic severely, which I am, here's some insulin, take it. It might work. It might make your blood sugars even higher. You got a shot in hell. That's kind of what those drugs are. That's kind of how it goes with those drugs. You don't know how your body's going to react. You don't know if you're going to have trouble withdrawing. You don't know if you even can metabolize them properly. You don't know if you have gene mutations. You don't know, and it can be such Russian roulette. And it's absurd to me if you replace psychiatric drugs with, say, insulin, and then you said, you know, you opened up the insulin thing and it's, oh, it can cause the very thing it's supposed to stop. So take this insulin and your diabetes might get worse. I mean, nobody would take it. Or if, you know, it would just be, people would just be like, what? Like, there needs to be a recall on this. But it's somehow normalized with these medications. Take depression medication and you might become the S word. Like, it's insanity to me. It's complete and utter insanity. And the thing is I'm always advocating on social media and this channel for informed consent. But even with informed consent, the problem is your doctor or my doctor could say, okay, here's the medication, here's the patient information leaflet, here's the black box warnings. But then I feel like they always say, but. So this is what my doctor did when I was prescribed them originally. But it's rare. But, you know, it's easier to come off than X. So like, for instance, when I was prescribed my antidepressant, citalopram, it was, this is going to work for your depression, which was situational, by the way. And it's easy to come off of. It's not like a benzo. You know, you'll be fine. It's pretty mild. I remember him saying that, and that was 11 years ago or 12 years ago now. And that was not the case at all for me. So I feel like even with informed consent, even if doctors go over this with their patients, I feel like there's still going to be that but. But it's rare. But it's like 1 in a million. But you're very likely going to be fine. You're going to feel better, you know. And I get where they're stuck, you know, because they have to help their patients, you know, if someone's having mental health problems, you know, and we kind of live in this society now where it's like, let's, you know, file all these people through 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 50 minutes. Not only that, but mental health care outside of medication, outside of psychiatry, trauma therapy and psychologists, like properly trained psychologists. I mean, you're paying $100, $200 an hour. There's just, the system is so flawed. This is kind of going in other directions, but I need to get my feelings out there about this. And the whole point of this is I just feel like it's becoming more and more common, and it's going to become an epidemic every single day. I mean, I mostly talk about it now on YouTube, but my Facebook community knows what's happened to me. Instagram, because I've made short videos, I've made some posts about it, even though this is the platform I talk about it the most. And I did used to have a YouTube channel where I had built it up. I had lots of videos about this, and then I just kind of, once I got pregnant, I was like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And I had some comments that I let get to me, and I just deleted my channel. So, but anyway, I get people every single day reaching out to me through one of these channels saying, oh my goodness, this is happening to me too. Oh my goodness, I'm having these symptoms. What is this? What's happening to me? Or, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant now, and I see that you went through pregnancy with akathisia, during withdrawal, you've taken all the classes of medication. What do I do? Am I going to be okay? It's just, it's unbelievable to me, like how much this is happening. And obviously I've put myself out there and made my story known, and people know where to find me. But I still, like, even just people who are unaware and I see their posts on social media, I wonder if that's what's happening to them too. And even, other people in my life that I know their history and I know what they've started on and where they're at now. And it just seems like I would question whether this is naturally getting worse, you're naturally getting more psychiatric, diseases, or if the medication is the problem. Again, I apologize. I should have shut that off. I think it's just going to become a huge, huge problem. I think COVID too made it worse because it was really affecting people's mental health. And again, people's mental health was, from what I've gathered, was suffering because of the lockdowns. We weren't allowed to go to work. We weren't allowed to socialize. We weren't allowed to go to, our favorite stress relieving places, gyms, restaurants. It just was, of course that's going to affect your mental health. How can it not? But yet again, if you would have went to your doctor during that time and say, hey doc, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling really anxious because I don't know where my job is right away you're prescribed a medication, which is, again, insane to me. There's no measuring of, okay, this is biological. Clearly, the patient's given you their history and said, this is what's happening, this is how I'm feeling during a worldwide lockdown, but I'm sure your serotonin's just low. It drives me crazy, and I just predict in the next couple of years, now with inflation being so high and people really, really struggling to make ends meet, it's just going to become, naturally, people are going to have more and more issues. There's going to be more depression, more anxiety, but it's understandably because of what's going on in the world. That if it didn't affect you in some way, I think that would be more weird than it affecting you. But that's going to be the solution. It's so sad. It's so sad. I just wanted to share those thoughts today on a Monday afternoon, but I'm going to go now, but I hope you all are doing well. And sorry about the distractions.